Okay. Hey everyone, I am Dr. Angelica Underwood, and I am so happy to be here with you in Power Talk Ask the Expert. And with me, I have Jody Deane, and he is a body, mind, spirit coach, mentor, energy healer, speaker, author, podcaster, actor, and founder of Step Out of the Time Retreats. So I really want to thank you, Jody, for being here with me, especially during this time of uncertainties, where we're going through quarantine. There's just so much. I think, I want to call it, there's chaos in the world, There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of uncertainty. And I think that with your expertise on mind body connection, it's really important that you're here. So thank you for taking this invitation.
Thank you so much. Lovely to be here.
I don't know if you want to add anything else. Tell us who you are so that the audience can get to know you. And
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Wow. So there's a lot to tell. When I was about 12 years old, I had a very big curiosity about everything esoteric and metaphysics. I went to the library and I got books out on UFOs, crop circles, witches, a supernatural phenomenon. I just had this burning desire inside to know about these things. And partly it was spurred and inspired by these two astrologers that were personal friends of my mother. And so kind of in conversations when they would be around, like there'd be this stuff talked about, and they were also into like the Norse gods and paganism. And she was from Finland. She brought stories with her from that time and the shamanic traditions and things, and just found it super fascinating. And that started a lifelong interest in everything. And as time has progressed, I've just delved deeper and deeper into it. I had a mini spiritual awakening when I was 15. Yeah. When I first went to this mind, body, spirit event in London and tried trance dancing and met all these healers and speakers and super interesting people, and people like Jill Peirce, who does the Mongolian overtone chanting, and David Fuss, is it? That he's like a big guy in the US. People like that, and it was just like, wow, this is so interesting. Oh my God. And it gave me, doing that trance dance ritual with this guy called Frank Natal, that just really opened me up to this experiential way of feeling and experiencing stuff that was talked about. I was feeling this energy in my body, this spiraling energy, healing energy moving around after the session, and I was totally blown away. And I was like, this is so interesting. I need to know more and more about this. So that was a watershed moment for me. And I was just thinking about this recently, because you know how you kind of look back at certain points in your life and go, that's what made me do that. Like that was a pivotal moment, that experience, and that made me choose this. And so it kind of pushed me towards this healing path, holding space path, and the expression path as well, which was the dance. So that's always been a thread through my life, getting in touch with my body and dance, movement, expression. Also the acting came in there as well, and also working with the voice. And then the other, of course, was the holding space and the healing. And so that I went and studied shiatsu and integrative arts psychotherapy. I did breath work. I worked as an actor for a few years. I got into writing and publishing, a few different things. And it was always trying to like work out who I am and what is it about, what can I do, and where do I fit in. And fast forward to now, where I focus very much now on holding space for people with the energy healing, with coaching and with mentoring. and really helping people call in their higher truth, or higher purpose, get aligned with who they are, activate their multidimensional magnificence, and really help them catalyze their awakening.
Wow. And you know, some of the things that, like the way that I connected with you, because I look at people's profile when I'm interested in interviewing people. And one of the things that really captured my attention was you had some hacks, right? In order for us to kind of center ourselves, and not only center ourselves, but being able to have that heart-centered alignment. So I don't know if you could talk to us. I know that breath is one big strategy that I've used in the past, and it has helped me in so many ways. So tell us why breath work and how can people use it? And you could even give us an example.
Sure, I'd be delighted. Why breath work? Well, breath is common to everyone, and it's a great window into being. So the way we're breathing reflects how we are, and it's something you can't fake. Right? You can't fake it. It doesn't, the breath doesn't lie. You know, if you're having very shallow, light breaths, it's for a reason. Your physiology is heightened, and you're maybe in a panic or in an anxiety mode. And so what you can do, though, is that you can use the breath to bring yourself out of anxiety and out of that kind of physiological overreaction nervous system response, and bring yourself to a more centered place. So that's the why for the breath. And the what for the breath. So yeah, there's something I'd like to share with you, which is, it's called the 20 breaths. So I believe this is an ancient yogic breath practice, and it's very simple. It's deceptively simple. It's easy to kind of go away from this and go, oh yeah, I got it, and then like a day later go, was that it? It's like, is that, surely it must be more complicated than that, right? Everything has to be really complicated. Actually really simple. And that's, yeah. So what it is it's conscious connected breathing. This is what we do in rebirthing. Breath work is conscious connected breathing, which is an in-breath and an out-breath without pausing, continuously. So an example of that would just be literally very simple. In breath, out breath. How babies breathe. You know, if you watch a baby,
and it's just through the nose, in and out, right?
In and out through the nose, just no pauses. So that sets up a rhythm. And so you do, what you do is you do 4 of them, and then the 5th one is a longer one. So it'd be and already I can feel my energy change just from doing that. So what we do is we do 4 cycles of that, and that adds up to 20 breaths, 20 in and out breaths.
Right. And you know, one of the things, Jody, because I know that this week, something, and even 2 weeks ago, we were told that my sister had COVID, right? So there is a lot of anxiety in my body, and I want it to be back in my body. And the breath was what I had to remind myself to keep breathing so I could be in my body. And then that sense of anxiety that was in my arms was able to dissipate, when I was breathing. So how do you use it, and why do you think it's important that people use it now more than ever?
Breath brings us into the present moment, because the breath is always in the present moment. It is never anywhere else.
I love
so
that.
when we focus the mind on the breathing, we're brought into the present moment. Our attention is centered and focused into the present moment.
Right.
So then that helps us get out of thought loops, ideas, panic, anxiety, because we're present.
Mm-hmm.
So this it's extremely powerful, and it's natural. It's completely natural. Obviously, we get more oxygenated when we take a lot of breaths quickly. So
Mm-hmm.
then we get that sense of alertness that comes with more oxygen. And also the yogis talk about prana, and the pranayama is that breath practice.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, this conscious connected breathing is a kind of pranayama as well. So it's an energy work. So you're taking in the universal energy as well. You're breathing it in and out. So
Love
that's
it.
powering your energy body up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all good, you know, it's a win-win.
I love it. I love it. And for those of you that are just joining, this is Power Talk, Ask the Expert Show. And with me is Jody Deane. He is a body, mind, spirit coach. And if you have any questions, we're talking about the breath. If you've used this technique, the breathing technique, a breath technique, then comment below or ask any questions that you would like. And Jody or myself, we will come back and answer them. So, Jody, I know that when I saw one of your videos, you were doing this hack on focusing on the third eye. Like, why were you doing that, and how does that help people to center? Or what were you actually trying to accomplish with that technique?
Sure. So the technique itself is raising the eyes up as high as they can go. So the eyeballs turned up, so like that,
Mm-hmm.
which you may be familiar with from seeing, I don't know, a picture of a yogi in a calendar or something, or in a
Right.
magazine, right?
Uh-huh.
So what it does is it activates the brain. There's a neural pathway response going on inside, activates parts of the brain which help with concentration and deepening the brain waves. And honestly, just try it, because
Can we
you can
try
do
it now for those of you that
yeah,
are watching?
yeah, let's try it
Guide us
now.
through it. Guide us.
Okay, so it's really simple. You just have to put your eyes up into
Okay. Yeah.
up as far as they
So
can go, and just
everybody follow along.
yeah,
Okay.
so just keep them up there. This is
Mm-hmm.
something they teach again in yoga, particularly
Okay.
Kundalini yoga. So it's just keeping them up there and just focusing them up there as much as possible.
Okay.
When I put my eyes up there, I see my eyebrows, and but I'm still like looking out. But everyone has different eyes, so some people might be able to get their eyeballs right up, right
Right.
into the, inside the skull.
It's
So it's just
hard though.
it is hard. It's
It's
stretching.
hard.
It's stretching some muscles, and you just
And
try
it
it
feels
for
uncomfortable.
yeah, it does feel uncomfortable. You just try it for a minute and see how
Okay.
I'm already feeling an effect now.
Okay.
It's also something they use in hypnosis as well, to
Okay.
again get us into a deeper kind of
So
brainwave.
does this help with trance too? To put
So
people in a trance?
I would imagine it would,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
imagine it would.
I would imagine too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the invitation is to try that out for a minute
Oh
or a
wow.
couple of
Whew.
minutes.
I got dizzy.
Yeah, it can feel dizzy. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
It's important to sit down while you're doing it and
Mm-hmm.
relax as much as
Wow.
possible.
Okay. So for those of you that are watching, we just did an eye exercise. Like, go back and watch it, because press replay. It is to help you focus, recenter, right? And ask any questions. With me is Jody Deane, and we're talking about breath, the breath, and how it helps you center. And he just gave us a technique, an eye technique. So watch the replay, ask any questions you like, and connect with Jody Deane. Okay, Jody, what else do you have for us? Like, why living your truth? Why is that so important? I know that you talk about secrets to power and purpose, but why should people live their truth? I mean,
Great question, Angelica.
mhm.
And it's such a broad topic, and it's so pertinent as well. for I think everyone who's tuning into this, because it's, you know, when you're into personal development and you want to improve yourself, that piece about living one's truth comes up again and again and again, because it's connected to the question of who am I, right? What am I? Why am I?
Right.
Right? Who do I want to become? And also, like, what am I doing with my life?
Right.
So that living one's truth is getting clear about who we are and why we are and what we want to be doing with ourselves. And it
Right.
can look different for every person on the planet. It's a different version, because we're all unique beings. We all have a unique destiny, and we all have a different purpose. There's no two people who are the same, so therefore we can't have the same purposes. And so that's in itself a wonderful thing. There's just this immense and wonderful variety of life. And so what else about this is that living one's truth is connected with what we call awakening, or what I call awakening anyway, which is again awakening to who we really are, and who we really are, and why we're really here, and what we're to do here. And so, for example, so it might. I was just thinking today. Actually, I have these thoughts right there. So I was thinking, what was I told? Like, my father told me he would like me to join his real estate business, or become a lawyer, right? And I was like, that's kind of not really my cup of tea. And also, like, looking at how stressed he was all the time, I was like, I don't want that. I don't want that. Like, no way do I want that. But like, this is his thing. Like, he wasn't pressurizing me or my brother or my sister, but it was like a thing. He would be like, yeah, I'd love you to join the business. You know, I was like, nah. And also the lawyer, oh well, you know, because he thought, oh, to be a lawyer, then you can earn a decent money and you can always protect yourself from, you know, people. And I was like, nah, it doesn't interest me at all. No, going to court, doing all that, no. That was interesting, because that thought came to me and I was like, yeah, that was like what was like, hey, do this, and my inner core, it was like, no, I won't do that. That's not me, right? It's finding out who you are, what you're about. And so, you know, that can come, some people know from very early on, like, this is who I am and this is who I want to be. And your parents and schooling and the media can accentuate that and help that, or they can hinder that. Often people have the experience that it's stifled and hindered who they really are and what they're really about. Right. And so consequently, we have people walking around, you know, in the third stage of their lives, and they're deeply unhappy, full of regret, unfulfilled, because they never were able to be, or never felt they were able to be, who they really are.
Right. And you know, the other thing, Jody, I know that there's probably a book on dying to be me, but one of the things that I've realized in my life, you know, that I have so many dreams, I have so many things that I want to fulfill. And a lot of the reasons why I haven't, when I stop and reflect, why haven't I achieved what I wanted? They're like a bunch of lies, you know, they're like fears and doubts and uncertainties. And I'll give you an example. You know, I wanted to get the swimming pool in my backyard for years, and I had one at the other house, but then I wanted to get one here. And I wasn't, because in my head, oh, it's too expensive, right? So then what I started doing this week, it was like, I'm just going to look for prices. I'm going to look for designs, and I'm going to look for something I can afford. And then it felt comfortable. You know, it felt comfortable rather than making excuses. I started to find ways that I could probably afford it. So I don't know. Don't you think people are living lies as to why they're not living their truth, right?
Yeah. I just also talked about this on a live where talking about truth and non-truth. And that, very important distinction, which it's key, because everything boils down to truth and non-truth, and defining what is your truth and what's true for you, and what then isn't true and what is not real, right? And really being clear and really being laser focused and digging down into your thoughts and checking out, is this true? And so we, as human beings who are trying to cope and survive in a society that might have all sorts of different agendas, that that may be at odds with us living our greatest truth on this earth, we have these coping mechanisms to deal with all of that, and trauma as well sets that off, especially from early life. So what happens is that we develop these strategies and behaviors and thought processes which kind of protect us, and they get old very quickly, and they no longer serve us often. So they're the fears and the anxieties that come up when we want to make a change, we want to do something for ourselves, but then the voice comes in and goes, no, you can't do that. No, don't do that. That's, you're crap, you're awful, you're bad, or whatever the inner voice or the internalized voice is, the inner critic, all of that comes into play in when we think about, like, I want to make a change here, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then we're kind of like, wondering why we're kind of treading water all the time and not moving forward in our lives unless it's given on a plate to us. It, as you said, it's these excuses, right? So so they keep us safe. Exactly. But what is safe, right? And so when you investigate your thoughts and really check them out, that's when you kind of start separating truth from falsity. And is this really true? This question, is this really true, can be such a liberating thing to do.
Oh my God.
Really dig down and find out, is it really true? And really be honest and really ask in the moment, is this true that I can't do this, or that I'm not good enough, or whatever, right? And yeah, it's been massively liberating for me, and I use this all the time in my work.
I've started to use it more and more, and it's like, whoa, like it feels good when you actually accomplish things that you've been holding back because you thought that was your truth. And in reality, there's a lot of lies in between. And when you start peeling away that onion of what is really true and what's not true, you could really get to the core of your purpose and really live life fully instead of holding back all the time, So, Jody, I know that people are going to want to get in touch with you because you have many strategies that I love myself, like the I strategy that you shared. I'm going to ask all of you, go back and watch the replay and then comment below. How did it help you? What is it doing in your body? If you have questions, ask, because this is Power Talk, Ask the Expert. And with me, I have Jody Deane. He also had a strategy on breath. So if you're just joining right now, go back and watch it. It helps you center yourself and find that heart space moment that we're looking for. And tell us, how can people reach you and how can people contact you?
Sure. So I'm on Facebook. I have a page, which is Jody Deane Flow Ninja. I also have a profile, which is Jody Deane. So you can contact me there. I have a simple website where you can get a download a wonderful little PDF I created, which is kind of like how to hack your flow and kind of manifest the life that you want. That's at go.flowninja.co. And then you can be in contact with me through email. And I'm on most of the platforms, LinkedIn and Twitter, and where else people go? YouTube, I have the Flow Ninja channel there. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's some.
and if you could post all of the information on the comments after we finish, people can go and click on it easily and find you. And then I'm Angelica Underwood. You can find me all over the social media under Angelica Underwood. I do have two special places in Empresarios Latinx if you are an entrepreneur in the Latin community. And then I have the Master Manifestor Lab, where we turn your dreams into reality. So come join us. It's absolutely free. And again, Jody, I really, really want to thank you because I think that people need to listen to your message. So we're asking all of you that are watching this, if you could please share. Right now, we're living uncertain times. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of doubt in people's minds as to what's going to happen. And Jody shared two strategies that I really feel that people will benefit from. It's breath and an eye gaze strategy. So go back and watch it, share, like, comment, and ask questions. We're here for you because we really want to impact and touch lives. So again, thank you, Jody, very much for being here today. I know that it's always short. I wish I could be here with you forever talking away, but we'll bring you back later. And thank you so much. You be blessed, and blessings to all, virtual hugs to everybody. Have an amazing day. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.